Hello friends and welcome to That Pro Wrestling Guys Wednesday Roundup as I record this. It is 5:17 in the morning, Thursday the 11th of June 2020, but it still feels like Wednesday to me. You know the drill here, I just finished watching AEW and NXT back to back and we're about to get into the good, the bad, the ugly. But before that, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's liked and supported the That Pro Wrestling Guy page on Facebook over the last couple of days. I've had a few spikes and likes and interactions and stuff like that. And also, this Saturday is the 9th year anniversary of the death of Mitsuharu Misawa, who of course tragically died in the ring. But I did write a tribute piece to Mitsuharu Misawa that is on the Facebook page. Go and check it out if Japanese pro wrestling is your thing, if Mitsuharu Misawa is your thing, and even not, because it's an interesting take on one of the greatest of all time. But moving on, you know the drill at this stage. I started with NXT. I started with AEW, so let's get straight into AEW. The show kicks off and we get, as you'd expect, a previously on AEW segment, and then straight into the intro, which I notice is updated to include some footage from recent Dynamites and the Stadium Stampede match and stuff like that. We then cut to Excalibur, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone as they run down the card, and I know I say this every week, but that's very WCW, and it's something I really enjoy. It's something I think looks and sounds very professional. And then Chris Jericho makes his entrance because for the time being he is going to be the fourth man on commentary, and I'm very excited for that. Jericho has been excellent on commentary every time he's been on commentary for AEW so far. He's hilarious, he's naturally funny, he's charismatic, he's interesting to listen to, and he adds an extra layer of entertainment to the show. So fantastic to have Jericho back on commentary here. Jericho, when he sits down at the commentary desk, knocks the glasses off his face with the headphones, but makes a nice save. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. First match of the night, we have the Butcher and the Blade versus FTR, a match I was really looking forward to going into this, and then Jesus Christ, hallelujah, FTR somehow have managed to escape the AEW curse of having shitty music. FTR actually have good music that suits their character. It's country. I couldn't make out any of the words or anything because it's kind of mumbly, but it suits their character. It sounds good. They come out in a pickup truck, which is a nice touch as well. They're the good Southern boys after all. Before the match starts, the camera pans to Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, who are scouting from the crowd, which is a nice touch as well. Of course, they're the Brainbusters who the Revival or FTR pretty much modelled their gimmick after. And this match starts off, we get a side headlock by Dax, and this is going to take me a while to get used to the names because I'm so used to calling them Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, but we get a side headlock by Dax and he's maintaining control with the side headlock. There's numerous escape attempts, but he keeps on managing to lock him down with the side headlock. We get a big strike exchange in the middle of the ring and then straight back to the side headlock, which I just love. Working that side headlock, it's great. He keeps on, like I said, trying to make the escapes. It's not a rest hold, you know, they're building to escape spots, but he keeps on overpowering and getting him back into the side headlock. I love that spot. And then JR pops me big by making a reference to the tag rope. Of course, in the first episode of this podcast, I made a reference to how in some matches people are grabbing the tag rope, and in another match the tag rope doesn't seem to be coming into effect. JR and me seem to see things on a similar wavelength when it comes to tag team rules. We get a huge Northern Light suplex by Dax. Then FTR do a great job cutting the ring in half. Dax grabs the leg while he's not legal, which is another great heel move. Both guys in this match were heel, which I thought would take away from the match a lot, and it does a bit, but nothing major. FTR have phenomenal heel work. And the Butcher and the Blade, as we'll see later on, actually have some great heel work as well. Cash plays Possum for a roll-up, which again, I just love. It's old school strategy. I love this kind of shit. We get nice heel work from both teams then. Butcher and Blade do a good job cutting off the road for Cash. Blade hits a snapmare headlock onto the ground. We get a big power slam by Cash, a hot tag to Dax, lovely swinging neck breaker by Dax, and then a fantastic brainbuster, like phenomenal brainbuster. We get a double elevated DDT by FTR, and then a superplex and a flying elbow combination from FTR, which is just fantastic, looked really, really nice. I actually thought it was a splash until I saw it on the replay, but you can see very clearly from the second camera angle that it's an elbow drop. Then there's a great Uranagi double team move from Butcher and Blade. And then the FTR hit the Shatter Machine, but they're calling it the Goodnight Express. Huge pop. I love that on Butcher. And then a spike pile driver on Blade for the 3 and the win in 10-20. After the match, the Young Bucks come out. They say they're going to introduce themselves to FTR. Matt Jackson cuts a nice fiery babyface promo. Butcher then attacks Matt Jackson from behind, but FTR make the save. And then here comes everybody. Like everyone in the tag team division comes out. We get a massive schmaz. The Elite are left in the ring, so Omega, Page, and the Bucks with FTR, and they kind of face off. So I guess FTR are being set up as kind of tweeners, not quite heel, not quite face, and I like that. It's an interesting concept. This was a heel versus heel match, so it's nice that we get a good outcome of it. FTR made the save. They're not setting themselves up as the big heels straight away. This match was really good in regards to making FTR look really good. The Butcher and the Blade, I don't know much about them. I didn't see much of their stuff before AEW, but they're good workers. I don't know about the character, but they're good workers. They made FTR look really good here. FTR got loads of shine in this match. Really looking forward to see how things go for FTR going forward. This is probably the shining light of the entire AEW show, by the way. This is the pinnacle, so you can turn it off after this if you're not particularly interested in the rest of the show. You won't be missing much. We then get a backstage promo from the Natural Nightmares, and when the camera first cut, I actually thought that QT Marshall was Chavo Guerrero for some reason. Really similar look. Anyway, we get a backstage promo from the Natural Nightmares. It sets up a match between them and Omega and Page next week. And yeah, the promo was good, but the match makes absolutely no sense. Who have the Natural Nightmares beaten that like other more successful teams on the roster have beaten? I don't know. It just makes no sense for them to be pushed up the rankings this much to get a tag team title match this quickly, but whatever. We then get Penelope Ford and Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida. And before this match begins, just the commentators are talking about Chris Statlander like she's a shoot alien. And I hate to beat on a dead horse here, but this is meant to be AEW, the sports-based wrestling brand. What the fuck is sports-based wrestling about having a girl with an alien gimmick who the commentators and other wrestlers all treat like she's a fucking shoot alien from a different galaxy? That makes no sense to me. I think that's the stupidest fucking thing. Really fucking annoys me. Anyway, the heels assault the faces before the bell. The bell goes. Statlander throws Rose through Ford, as in like forces a spear. It's cool. Quick tags from the baby faces straight away, and then we go, just as the match is starting to pick up, we go straight into the ads. How do you Americans do it? We get a nice flurry of offense by Statlander as we come back from the ads. Hikaru Shida hits 2 knees and a top rope missile dropkick, which looks phenomenal. Hikaru Shida is by and far the best competitor in this match, like by a mile, no question. We get a sloppy double backbreaker by the baby faces. Penelope Ford with nice dodges and a very careful stunner, like a very slow, careful stunner. Shida then hits a superplex. We get a big kick from Statlander. Then Nyla has both girls prone over the top rope. She hits a huge knee drop across both baby faces back, and that was very cool looking. Nyla Rose goes for a powerbomb combination, but Statlander pulls Penelope Ford off the ropes before she can do. Shida hits a Falcon Arrow, and fucking Penelope Ford kicks out, and that makes no sense to me. Penelope Ford is only 5th in the contendership, and if Hikaru Shida is putting people away with this Falcon Arrow, then I'm sorry, I completely disagree with Penelope Ford, who is, for all intents and purposes, an underneath wrestler in this company. I completely disagree with her kicking out of one of Shida's biggest moves. Ford then hits Shida with the belt. Nyla Rose throws the belt into the ring because Sabian has distracted the ref. Ford hits a fisherman suplex for the 3 and the win in 10 minutes. And I gotta be honest with you, this fucking sucked. The ending was a jumbled mess. The moves during the match were sloppy. There was a lot of botches. Hikaru Shida by far was the best wrestler in this match. Everything she did was nice. Everything she did was crisp. I don't think that Penelope Ford should be kicking out of one of the champions, like their women's champions, biggest moves. If she's putting people away with it, then Penelope Ford shouldn't be kicking out of it. It just felt like a jumbled mess. There was a bit of legal man syndrome. I really, really disliked this match. Massive thumbs down for me for this women's tag team match. We then cut to a backstage segment with Darby Allin and Tony Hawk for some reason. I wonder how much they paid to get Tony Hawk to appear on the show. But Tony Hawk is trying to encourage Darby Allin to keep skateboarding, and he's doing these ollie tricks off a ladder. It's a cool segment. It's got Tony Hawk. It's a thumbs up for me. And then we get a Britt Baker package, and as you know, I am just obsessed with Britt Baker, and this package was no exception. She's phenomenal. She's really funny. She's naturally charismatic. Put Britt Baker on your TV show all the time. She is one of the best on the roster, and even if she's not wrestling, she's so charismatic and she's such a good character that she could literally carry the women's division until she comes back to face Hikaru Shida. And it has to be her to face Hikaru Shida, because no one else in the women's division, I think, holds a candle to either of those two girls. Let me know what you think. After that, then, we get the Inner Circle versus Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, the Inner Circle team comprised of LAX and Jake Hager. When the Inner Circle come out, all three of them flip off the camera. You're fucking mad. Like, it's not 1998 anymore. I don't think flipping off the camera is a particularly cool heel thing to do, but whatever. Inner Circle, Pearl Harbor, the baby faces as the replay is playing. So if you weren't watching that tiny box if you weren't watching the tiny box in the corner, if you were watching the replay like the show was intending you to do, you completely missed that. Jericho is amazing on commentary for this one. This is where Jericho hits like peak Jericho. He's marking out for everything the Inner Circle do. He's booing everything the Best Friends do. This is peak Jericho on commentary here. Trent goes for a swinging DDT, but it gets reversed into a huge boot by Santana. It looks really cool. There's a soul food half and half combination by Best Friends, which is an awesome looking move. Two big dives then from the Best Friends. Chuck whips one of LAX into a spear by Trent. I'm sorry, I didn't catch which one of LAX it was. There's some nice heel work from the Inner Circle then. They're cutting the ring in half, and as you know, I'm a big sucker for psychology, cutting the ring in half, that kind of stuff. And then how am I meant to watch this picture-in-picture shit? Because the emphasis is on the ads, the wrestling is silent. So no matter how much I try to focus on the wrestling in the small box in the corner, the emphasis is always going to be drawn to what the sound is coming from. This picture-in-picture shit drives me mad. Anyway, we get a hot tag. Trent cleans house but gets cut off quick. But you probably missed that because it's on the picture-in-picture thing. So what are you going to do? Ortiz then takes off Orange Cassidy's glasses and throws them into the crowd while Cassidy is on the apron waiting for a tag, and you probably missed that as well because it was on the picture-in-picture shit. Then we get a cool swinging DDT by Trent. Orange Cassidy gets tagged in. He does Orange Cassidy stuff. If you've seen Orange Cassidy once, you know his shtick. He does it again, but he does hit a lovely crossbody and a really impressive DDT. Hager then catches Orange Cassidy in mid-air and drives him into the mat very roughly. Orange Cassidy looks like he weighs about 95 pounds. Jake Hager looks like he weighs about 250. This looked like he was planting a fucking tombstone into the ring. Orange Cassidy with a sloppy roll-up on Ortiz for the 3 in 10 minutes and 12 seconds. After the match, Inner Circle attack Best Friends. Jericho uses Floyd the Bat. Jericho has a massive bag of oranges then for some reason. So Jericho takes out all of the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy with the bat. He hits Orange Cassidy with the bat, and Orange Cassidy goes face down and has his hands by his head for a suspiciously long amount of time. Jericho goes out of the rings. He picks up a massive bag of oranges, 20 pounds of blood oranges, as Tony Schiavone calls it. He gets into the ring. Cassidy turns around. Cassidy's after gigging himself. The lads pick Orange Cassidy up, and Jericho swings the massive bag of oranges into Cassidy's face, and when he's down, he swings the bag of oranges into him again. And then line of the night, Jericho picks up the microphone and says, "Blood Orange Cassidy has just been juiced." Massive pop for that. The match, it was alright. Standard 6-man tag AEW affair. Who's legal? Everyone's in the ring doing tag team moves. If that's the sort of thing you like, you're going to like this. But for me, it's only alright. It's fine. Like, the moves were cool. I like most of the people in the match, but this is just not my kind of wrestling. Sorry, simple as. Then we get MJF cuts off a Billy Gunn promo on the outside. So Tony Schiavone is talking to Billy Gunn and Bart Gunn, but before they can even get a word in, MJF cuts them off and cuts his own promo. That's fantastic. Then we get a recap of the Colt Cabana Dark Order storyline. And like I said, next week, I really don't like the storyline. I don't think Colt Cabana is a good fit. I was kind of hoping that it would sway the other way and Colt Cabana would reject the Dark Order. But after tonight, it's not looking likely. And then we get Sammy Guevara versus Colt Cabana. They flip off each other. Again, it's not 1998. Is that even funny anymore? Like, who is the target audience for this shit? At the start of the match, they're doing your basic wrestling warm-ups, off the ropes, drop down leapfrogs and stuff, interspersed with them flipping each other off. Like, that's just not funny. That's juvenile. That's 1998 fucking hammy bollocks. I really don't like that. We do get a nice head scissors by Colt Cabana. Cabana works the arm and fingers for all of about 20 seconds and doesn't go back on them for the rest of the match. We get a big dive by Guevara. More picture-in-picture shit, for fuck's sake. There's a snapmare run the ropes into a chin lock spot, which is very funny, but it gets reversed into a roll-up, but you probably didn't see it because it was in picture-in-picture. Then there's a huge elbow by Cabana and a great sell from Guevara, a really, really nice sell from Guevara. He like folds himself in half backwards. If I tried to do it, I would probably break every bone in my body, but Guevara's a lot more flexible than me. Cool sell there. We get a Dusty style bionic elbow, if you will, from Colt Cabana. Cabana reverses a springboard into a toss off the ropes and then a moonsault, which was very nice. I'll give him credit for that. Guevara hits the GTH for the 3 and the win in 7:21, and this was a nothing match. After the match, Super Smash Brothers return with the rest of the Dark Order. Brody Lee comes down to the ring. He helps Cabana up to his feet. And then Guevara cuts a very bland promo but gets interrupted by Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy tries to coerce Sammy to leave the inner circle. Matt Hardy changes character 3 times. The match was a vehicle for all of the shenanigans to happen after the match. The match was kind of a nothing match. Most of the match happened during an ad break, so you probably missed most of the match. The match was nothing. Everything that was done well, but it was a nothing match. Like it really didn't matter. Bang average, run of the mill kind of Colt Cabana match. Bang average, run of the mill indie match. That's what this was. What happened after? Like I said last week and like I said earlier, I really am not a fan of this storyline with Colt Cabana and the Dark Order. I think this is the biggest mismatch in professional wrestling. I do not think they belong together. I don't think they should be working together. And then the Matt Hardy changing characters shtick. Well, for one, you're messing with your own lore, because I thought that Matt Hardy could only change characters if he was dipped into water from the Lake of Reincarnation. God, why do I know that? But I liked the broken Matt stuff in TNA when it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but here he seems to be taking it a lot more seriously, and I don't know, it's a bit cringy. I don't like it. I don't like him changing characters on a whim like that. The Matt Hardy version 1 Matt Facts screen graphic will always get a pop from me, but that's about it. Moving on, Joey Janela. There's a Joey Janela vignette. Joey Janela gets into a car with Sonny Kiss after being in a bar drinking. And then we get a to be continued across the bottom. So wherever this is going to go, we'll find out next week. I personally think this was directed by Sick Nick Mondo. Sick Nick Mondo, of course, directed John Moxley's comeback promo, the breaking out of prison promo. And this had a feel of that style production. I think this was Sick Nick Mondo as well. I think this has a Sick Nick Mondo signature all over it. Then Cabana brushes off a backstage interview and enters Brody Lee's locker room. So to me, that kind of confirms that he's at least considering, if not confirmed, to join the Dark Order. And again, biggest mismatch in professional wrestling at the moment. I don't understand it. Hopefully it pans out well. We go from that to a John Moxley promo in the parking lot. Taz interrupts him while Moxley's running his mouth. Taz starts running his mouth while Taz is running his mouth. Cage makes a really long run up the parking lot, attacks Moxley from behind. They get into a brawl, a really cool looking brawl, really impressive looking brawl. At one point, Moxley smashes a car window with a lead pipe after missing Brian Cage. Brian Cage slams Moxley onto the hood of the car at one point. They start walking away. Taz is trying to pull Cage off Moxley. Cage is teasing either a pile driver or a powerbomb. Taz talks him out of it, but then Cage goes back anyway and slams Moxley through the rear window of a car, and that was really cool. That's good heel building, storytelling technique right there. You're going to hate Brian Cage after that, and it builds him up as this fucking monster. He destroyed Moxley. Moxley already has a bruised tailbone going into this angle, so that must have fucking sucked to take that bump through the rear window, but this was good. I like this. This is the kind of stuff you should have on your show. Anyway, moving on, we get Cody versus Mark Quinn. We're already at the main event of this thing. We get a good high package going into it. Not on the level as most of the other AEW high packages I've seen. Definitely not on the level of any of the NXT high packages, but not quite on the level of most of the AEW high package I've seen. Still a good high package. I love high packages. Matt Hardy comes out with Private Party, and this annoys the shit out of me. Now, last week, we'll start 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, after the match with the Young Bucks, Matt Hardy helps Mark Quinn to the back after Mark Quinn injures his leg. Last week, Private Party are having a private party, at the bar of the venue, and Matt Hardy comes out and talks to them and kind of strikes up a friendship. And in the interim of all of this, Matt Hardy has been having segments with Private Party on BTE. And here, Matt Hardy comes out with Private Party for Mark Quinn's entrance. And unless you've been keeping up with BTE, you wouldn't have seen this friendship progress naturally. And call me old-fashioned, but I don't think your internet vlog should be necessary viewing for people that are just trying to enjoy your wrestling program. I think you're alienating a huge chunk of your audience that don't watch BTE and just want to watch AEW for the wrestling by continuing storylines from Being the Elite on your wrestling program. That really bothers me. I think you're alienating a huge chunk of your audience with this. That's something that really gets on my nerves, because all you saw was Matt Hardy talking to them in the bar last week. You can't make the jump from them talking in a bar once to him coming out with them here. If you haven't seen BTE, you haven't seen this evolve organically, and you're out of the loop. Does that annoy anyone else? That really annoys me. We get a code of honor handshake spot before the match. Shoulder tackle, step up, standing moonsault by Quinn, which was really, really nice. Quinn reverses a disaster kick with a huge leaping drop kick, which is also really nice. Then there's a Liger style Romero special by Cody. Fucking phenomenal move. Love that move. Quinn can't spring off the rope and sells his injured leg, and this happens while we're on a fucking ad break. This is the most important story crux of this whole match, and it happens as we go to the ads. It happens in the picture-in-picture thing. How fucking annoying is that? So Quinn can't spring off the ropes. He goes down, he sells his injured leg. Cody then zones in on the leg. He drags him out to the ring post, starts wrapping the leg around the ring post, and all of this is still happening in the picture-in-picture thing. How fucking annoying is that? And how bad is your match planning that you're going to have the story crux of your whole match happen while you're at an ad break? There's no fucking foresight there. That's so annoying. That's fucking shocking. But the spot was really, really cool. So I have to give it that. Then we get an overhead kick by Quinn on the inside. Cody goes right back onto the leg. There's a fairly contrived top rope spot, kind of like a Seth Walker, but it has big impact. You know, I don't like those spots where both of them are standing on the very top rope. I think super far-fetched, super contrived. We get a standing shooting star by Quinn. Quinn reverses a suplex, lands on his feet, and then corkscrews into a DDT and hits two huge dives all in one foul swoop. Really cool, but his leg is too injured to hit the third drive. He goes to make the run but goes down, grabbing his knee. Nice bit of psychology there, calling back to earlier in the match that you didn't see because they were on a fucking ad break. He then manages to muster up the strength to hit a Fosbury flop at the other side of the ring after Cody's going around, so that's cool. Quinn then hits a 450 from the top rope to the ramp. Cody's after rolling out of the ring at this stage. He's lying on the ramp and Quinn hits a 450 all the way from the top rope to the ramp. Really, really impressive spot. Quinn shooting star press but gets caught in an ankle lock, and then Cody changes the ankle lock into like a modified leg fulcrum submission. So Cody's leg is in between Quinn's thigh and his calf, and he's using it as a fulcrum to stretch that leg around his own leg. Really, really nasty looking submission actually. And he gets the tap out victory in 12-19. After the match, Jake Hager comes out. Hager lays hands on Double A, but Cody stops him. Hager lays out Cody, but Private Party and Matt Hardy come in to make the save. They're swinging chairs mad. Then the Inner Circle come out. We get a massive schmoz. We go home. That was AEW. What did I think of the main event? The match itself was fucking great. I am a sucker for psychological style wrestling. Quinn was going into the match with an injured leg, and Cody zoned in on that leg as soon as he sold that it was injured. As soon as Quinn let Cody know that his leg was hurting, Cody zoned in on that leg. The spots where he was wrapping the leg around the ring post, the fact that the injured leg played into the end of the match, I love that. The match itself was really good. I can complain a bit that Quinn was doing some fucking really impressive stuff for, you know, someone with an injured leg, but whatever, that's forgivable. I like this kind of psychological stuff, but what really, really got on my nerves was the picture-in-picture, the ad breaks coming in at like some of the most important points of the match. That makes no sense to me. If you know that this leg injury is going to play into the finish, then surely your priority during the match should be to show him selling the injured leg and Cody wrapping the leg around the ring post. Like, I'm not nitpicking here, like that's just common sense. If I was booking a match, if I was booking a television show, and I know that something really important for the finish of the match is going to happen in the match, I will not be cutting away to a fucking ad break. You know, the production team have something to answer for here. That makes no sense. Does that piss anyone else off to the degree that it pissed me off? Am I just being nitpicky? I know it's in picture-in-picture, but like I said earlier, the picture-in-picture, you're always going to be drawn to the ad break because that's where the sound is coming from. Your brain will naturally drift to the ad break, so you're going to miss lots of details. It took a lot of effort for me to ignore the ad and watch the tiny little box that the wrestling's in, and also the wrestling's in a smaller box than the ad as well. It's clear what you're meant to be looking at. They don't want you to fucking take in the ad via osmosis without actually watching it. The network wants you to watch the ad. That's why the sound is on the ad and the fucking ad is bigger. So you're going to miss some of the most important parts of this match because of this stupid fucking picture-in-picture gimmick. And that's really annoying. And that really took away from the whole match. But I must say, Mark Quinn is too good to be in a tag team. Mark Quinn is absolutely phenomenal in the ring. He is really going to be a star. Once he breaks out and gets his run as a single star, he's going to be really, really good. Mark my words. The show as a whole, I gotta be honest with you, I thought this week AEW was fucking super naff. The women's tag team match sucked all the joy out of the show, and it didn't really pick up steam for the rest of the show. The Orange Cassidy spot, like the one spot where he blade and get hit by the fucking bag of oranges, that was cool, I suppose. That was good story building. That built Jericho up nice as a ruthless kind of heel. But like, and the main event was a good match, but like I said, it was severely hindered by when they chose to go to the break. Severely hindered. So overall, AEW this week, super fucking naff. A really fucking disappointing episode of AEW this week. The best thing about it, FTR. By a mile. If you're going to watch it, go in, watch the first 20 minutes or so, watch the FTR match, and then fucking watch the rest of it in highlights on YouTube, because you're not going to miss a fucking thing. You're not going to miss a fucking thing. Super, super naff episode of AEW, I must say. moving on. Sorry, I got a little angry there. Moving on to a much more positive show this week. NXT. The show opens up an In Your House recap set to the Code Orange theme of In Your House, with footage of Code Orange and footage from the show. Already hyped going into this. Like, from the first 1 minute of this show, I already think this is better than AEW. Undisputed Era make the entrance. Adam Cole cuts a promo. Adam Cole is a phenomenal promo. Adam Cole has been a phenomenal promo his entire career. Adam Cole has been a great promo in Ring of Honor. He hasn't had to change his gimmick at all in like 10 years. Adam Cole is so great. Roderick Strong is freaking out during the promo. He keeps on thinking he sees Dexter Lumis. Really cool. Undisputed Era go backstage. They're, again, Roderick Strong is freaking out about Dexter Lumis. Keith Lee and Mia Yim walk up on the Undisputed Era and tease a match between Lee and Adam Cole sometime in the future. That's what I got from that anyway. And if that is the case, shut up and take my money. Very excited about that. Cool. We then get our first match of the night, which is Keith Lee and Mia Yim versus Gargano and LeRae. And when they started making their entrance together, straight away I was like, oh my God, surely this feud has run its course. And I expected this match to be a bit shit, but I was pleasantly surprised. We get some trash talk before the bell. Oh yeah, so they're trash talking each other. Keith Lee picks up Candice LeRae. It breaks down then because Keith Lee put his hands on Candice LeRae. There's a double reversal powerbomb collision and then stereo clotheslines by Keith Lee and Mia Yim. Then the bell rings, so the match is only just beginning now. Lee saves Yim after a failed dive attempt, so she dives out of the ring on what she thinks is going to be Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae gets out of the way, Lee saves her life. Gargano and LeRae thrown into the apron at the same time, that's cool. Soul Food by Mia Yim. Lee dominates Gargano with shoulder checks, chops, and a huge beel, and the commentators freak out about this beel. He beels him from one corner to practically the other side of the ring. Very impressive. LeRae makes the tag behind Lee's back, so Lee still thinks that Gargano is legal. LeRae comes in. Lee manages to power LeRae up onto his shoulders while Gargano is also on his shoulders. Very impressive, but Gargano makes the escape and makes the save with an enziguri. There's a dragon suplex by Mia Yim, really nice, one of my favourite moves. Yim with German suplexes to both Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano, so the rules of a mixed tag team match have kind of gone out the window here. Soul Food and a springboard moonsault by LeRae, which is really cool. Yim low bridges Gargano, calling back to earlier in the match when Gargano attempted to low bridge Yim, but that happened during the break, so you probably missed it. Big Pounce knocks everyone off the apron and Yim is down for the count. Gargano inadvertently slingshot DDTs Keith Lee's whole body weight onto LeRae, and LeRae is just out. She's flattened. She looks like she's dead. Lee picks up LeRae to tend to her then, but sneaky heel Johnny Gargano rolls into the ring, rolls him up for the 3 and the win in 7:33. And when he rolls Keith Lee up, Candice LeRae rolls all the way out of the ring. It's very funny. While they're leaving, Candice LeRae does the Weekend at Bernie's spot. Gargano does the Weekend at Bernie's spot, mimicking Candice LeRae's kind of limp and lifeless body, like she's celebrating on the ramp, like she's some kind of marionette puppet. I popped huge for that. Reminded me straight away of Weekend at Bernie's. Then we get a recap from In Your House. It's Damian Priest cutting a promo backstage, and it's a bland babyface promo, and after the match he had with Finn, that's kind of a disappointment. Whatever. We then get live Cameron Grimes cuts a very entertaining promo, but gets attacked by Priest for mocking him for not being able to put away Finn Balor. Then we get an Io Shirai vignette set to Scary Mask by Poppy. Absolutely class. Fucking footage of Io Shirai set to Poppy. Give me that all day. Give me an hour-long DVD of that. I will watch it all the time. Then Indus Sher versus Mikey Delbury and Mike Reed. Mikey Delbury and Mike Reed, they're the rent-a-jobbers of this match. They do not get an entrance there in the ring when Indus Sher already come out. This match consists of a couple of huge boots, massive splashes in the corner, a sidewalk slam leg drop combo, but they completely whiff the leg drop. Like, it's off by a good fucking 6 inches, but they get the 3 in the win and 1 minute 06. There's no point in me commentating on the quality of this match because it was a squash match. I guess it got Indus Sher over really strong. against the Rent-A-Jobber guys, but they did whiff that leg drop at the end really fucking bad. Moving on, we get a really funny backstage segment. Cameron Grimes can't compete according to referee Drake Younger. Drake Younger is talking to Regal on Skype on a tablet, and then so Regal asks Drake Younger to bring him to Cameron Grimes, and he does bring him to Cameron Grimes, but when they get to Cameron Grimes, Grimes is accidentally selling himself out while bragging to Katie Catanzaro and Caden, I forgot her name, but you get the picture. Grimes is bragging about how he's fine and stuff like that, accidentally sells himself out, has to go through with the match, and then we get a Breezango promo / vignette, which was pretty cool, and then a Karrion Kross match recap from In Your House, which was also pretty cool. We see then footage from after In Your House in the parking lot. They try to interview Ciampa, and Ciampa brushes it off and drives away. Then we get a Rhea Ripley interview, and Robert Stone interrupts the interview. Robert Stone proposes they start working together. Ripley disposes of him promptly in a bin. Then Cameron Grimes versus Finn Balor. This was kind of the match when they announced it at the start of the show that I was like, fuck yeah, this is going to be match of the night. And it was really good. Really, really, really good. There's some really nice grappling at the start. Nice bit of chain wrestling. The R1 and X mini game from the WWE games. Finn elbows the life out of Cameron Grimes at one point. Grimes screams he's got my hair while he's in a chin lock, which is great heel move, trying to force the ref to break the hold. Then we get corner to corner chops by Balor, running corner to corner, chop by chop. Really cool spot there. Grimes spikes Balor and knees him in the side, which is really nasty, kind of heel move. Love that. Sunset flip, roll through basement drop kick by Balor, really impressive. Brawling on the outside for a wee bit, but it doesn't last too long. There's a huge New Japan style lariat by Grimes, just fucking lariats him out of his boots. Grimes maintains control with a reverse chin lock, and really, really nice. Like I said, when Dax was doing it on AEW, it's not a rest hold because Finn is constantly almost getting to the point where he's going to break out of it, and Grimes just keeps on maintaining the control, locking him down. I love that kind of stuff. It's a wear down spot. I love wear down spots like that. Grimes trash talks then. He's fucking hilarious. His character is so good. I would pay for an hour of Grimes trash talking any day. I think he'd be a brilliant comedian. This is really, really cool. Then there's a double leg takedown, double stomp, a sling blade, and a corner drop kick. So, Finn Balor's signature offense looks like it's going to be over, but he misses the coup de grace. Grimes has two near fall roll-ups and a nice hope spot, but gets cut off. Grimes goes for the cave-in, but Balor evades it. Balor hits a reverse Bloody Sunday, but Grimes kicks out, and this is really exciting at this point. Balor hits a coup de grace and a 1916 for the pin and the win in 9:02, and that was really, really good. I would have happily watched that for another 20 minutes. If that was like a main event of a takeover and it went 20 minutes longer, that would be great. No one would be disappointed in that. Both guys obviously are at the top of their game at the moment. Cameron Grimes is fantastic. Like I said last week, I've always been a fan of Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes. He was the only thing I watched in Impact when he was in Impact. I'm such a big fan. I have so much time for him. His character work has come on leaps and bounds since coming to NXT. I have only positive things to say about this match. This was great. After the match, Balor walks up to the camera and calls out Keith Lee for the North American title, which is, I'm all for that. Really, really and truly am all for that. Give me Finn Balor versus Keith Lee. I think that'll be fantastic. We then get Casey Catanzaro versus Dakota Kai. They make their entrance before the match. Gonzalez, who accompanies Dakota Kai to the ring, stands right by Catanzaro, and she is like towering above her. It's a very funny visual. There's a senton atomico by Catanzaro, a head scissors from the apron to the floor by Catanzaro looked really nice. A somersault capo kick by Catanzaro again looked really, really nice. Kai hits a nasty face wash then at one point. Catanzaro has an evasive roll up from the corner, which looked really slick. Like, she's so athletic. Everything she does is really crisp and quick. Really, really good Casey Catanzaro is in this one. Dakota Kai hits a scorpion kick, which I think is one of the coolest looking kicks in her arsenal. And then a GTK, which is the worst named move in all of wrestling. Go to kick. Fucking stupid. But she hits a GTK for the 3 in 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And I guess you could call this an athletic squash. But you can't really, because Catanzaro was on the offense for most of the match. This was good. It was too short for me to comment on either woman properly. Like, I'd give me 10-15 minutes of this match and I'll be able to properly tell you what I thought of it. But for what this was, for getting Dakota Kai over, this was good, and her kicks are cool. I don't quite buy her as a heel. I think her face is too nice. Like, her face is too nice and friendly for me to buy her as a heel, but this is cool. After the match, the heels attack Catanzaro, but Caden Carter makes the save, and Caden Carter looks great here. What little offense she has is really fiery. Gonzalez, however, cuts off her offense and drives her into the mat, and that's it for that. We get a vignette of Timothy Thatcher in his training camp, talking about how intense his training is going to be. This is a little vignette, and it says to continue next week, so that'll be cool. We then get El Hijo del Fantasma starts cutting a promo in Spanish, but gets interrupted by Drake Maverick. So this is meant to be El Hijo del Fantasma's title celebration. He comes out, he starts cutting his promo in Spanish. Drake Maverick comes in to interrupt him. Maverick challenges Fantasma for a match. Fantasma accepts the match, and then out come the Mystery Luchadors. The Mystery Luchadors face off against both cruiserweights. Both cruiserweights are back to back, but then we get the classic wrestling spot where Fantasma turns around and all three of them start attacking Maverick. Surprise, surprise, the Mystery Luchadors were actually with El Hijo del Fantasma the whole time. Like, no one saw that coming. All three of them attack Maverick and unmask. It's Wild and Mendoza. The Mystery Luchadors were Wild and Mendoza, and then El Hijo del Fantasma unmasks, and he's Santos Escobar, which is a really cool name. And if this is going to be kind of like a Mexican cartel gimmick, I'm all for it. That's what it kind of looks like, because you got the two guys in suits. He's chosen the name Escobar. This could end up being really cool. It could end up being kind of like a WWE version of Los Ingobernables, and I know they have that kind of going at the moment anyway with Andrade, apologies, but this looks really cool. They look slick, they look cool as a unit. I'm all for this. I've only remember El Hijo del Fantasma wrestling as King Cuerno before this, so this face reveal didn't really mean much to me, but the name is cool. They look cool as a trio, and it's another masked wrestler falling into the WWE trap of having to unmask straight away. But whatever, we get an Undisputed Era backstage segment, and they feel like they're being haunted by Dexter Lumis. And it's funny, they find a drawing by Dexter Lumis. Roderick Strong keeps on seeing his reflections and things. Really cool segment. And then we get the main event of the evening on NXT. It is Dexter Lumis versus Adam Cole. Lumis makes his entrance. Lumis is so unsettling, and his music is great. Kick off the match, we get a great back elbow by Dexter Lumis. Adam Cole WCWs him, which is an OSW reference. Adam Cole escapes the ring. Dexter Lumis chases after him. Adam Cole rolls in the other side and starts putting the boots to him when Dexter Lumis rolls in. He WCWs him. Lumis launches Cole all the way across the ring. Really impressive. Then there's a huge boot off the apron by Cole, which sends us to an ad break. When we come back, we get a backstabber by Cole for a 2. Cole trash talks, elbows, and hits a lovely swinging neckbreaker on Dexter Lumis, which was a really nice looking spot. Lumis encourages Cole to hit him and smiles at the elbows as they come in, which is really unsettling. Lumis just has this creepy looking face. All of his movements are methodical. I have a lot of faith in Dexter Lumis going forward because he's really impressive in this one. Lumis runs wild, hits a bulldog and a rope-assisted suplex. Really, really nice, big impact there. Lumis hits a lovely German suplex, fantastic German suplex. Cole exposes the knee, but Lumis cuts off the last shot. Big super kick out of the corner for a 2 by Adam Cole. Lumis avoids the last shot and does a massive spine buster. Really huge impact, really loud impact off the spine buster. Adam Cole manages to trip Lumis out of the ring. Lumis then crawls out of the other side of the ring, so the Undisputed Era attempt to swarm Lumis. They both go to where he fell out of the ring, but Lumis is after crawling all the way under the ropes and out the other side of the ring, which is very impressive. He catches Adam Cole from behind, hits a huge spine buster for a 2 count only. Cole gets the knees up then to stop a senton bomb, so Lumis comes off the top attempting a senton. Really graceful looking descent as well on the senton, really impressive for such a big guy. Cole gets the legs up, cuts it off. Lumis stops the Panama Sunrise with a head and arm choke. And then strong knees Loomis while Fish distracts the referee. Cole hits the last shot for the 3 and the win in 9 minutes. And this was a really good main event. I think that Dexter Loomis and the gimmick for Dexter Loomis is great. He looks fantastic. The way he moves around the ring is very snake-like. He's really quick. He's methodical. He never changes his facial expression, and I know if any other wrestler never changed their facial expression, I'd be giving out that they had terrible facials, but this, for the sake of the gimmick, is really cool. I have a lot of faith in Dexter Loomis if they keep going with this gimmick. I think this gimmick of him stalking the Undisputed Era is great as well. But even at one point, Adam Cole is kind of hung up on the ropes and Loomis slides out of the bottom rope and it's almost like a snake. Like, it's so fucking quick and slippery. Really, really cool. Really like Dexter Loomis here. After the match then, Cole is trash talking Dexter Loomis, but Loomis pops up and hits on that fucking head and arm choke again. Undisputed Era enter the ring. They swarm Loomis, start putting the boots to him. Then the Velveteen Dream comes out to make the save, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it really looks like Velveteen Dream was dressed up as Macho Man Randy Savage. Adam Cole then is alone in the ring. He picks up the belt. He starts celebrating. You know, he's won the match, blah, blah, blah. And the lights go out. And when the lights go out, we get the spotlight on the top of the ramp. Scarlett Bordeaux comes out. The smoke starts coming up from the ramp. Really, really cool visuals. Like I keep on harking on about with this this Scarlett Bordeaux and Karrion Kross gimmick. The visuals are just so good. The visuals make this thing. And it helps as well that Karrion Kross is just a phenomenal wrestler. Like, really glad that this is all working out for them. So the lights go out. Scarlett Bordeaux starts walking to the ring really slowly. She exposes from behind her back. She has a big egg timer. She puts the egg timer in the ring, turns it so it starts counting down. The egg timer, I'm assuming, symbolic of Adam Cole's record-winning title reign coming to an end. His time is limited, and that was really, really impressive. I must say the match was really impressive. After the match was really cool. The visuals were fantastic, and I keep on talking about how great the visuals are with this Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux gimmick, but they really, really are that good, and this was no exception. Overall, NXT as a show was really good. A little less action than most episodes of NXT, a few shorter matches here, but a really good show overall. Really much more put together than AEW this week. So that will bring us to my end of show review. I don't think it's any secret who won this week, and surely anyone else who watched would agree with me. AEW really struggled this week, in my opinion. The show was all over the place. The women's tag match as the second match just sucked all the life out of the show, all of the momentum out of the show, and they really struggled to get that back. I bet that a lot of people really enjoyed the Colt Cabana match. I didn't. I bet a lot of people really enjoyed the Inner Circle match. I didn't. I thought those were poor enough. Like, the Inner Circle match was fine. The Colt Cabana match was nothing, but like nothing that made me want to keep watching AEW. At no point was I like, fucking hell, I really can't wait to see how this pans out. The main event was good, but like I complained enough about earlier, they put in the ad breaks at the total wrong place. They put in the ad breaks at the pivotal crux of the match, a really important story point that was going to come into play again at the end of the match, and that is criminally bad production. There is no excuse for that. That's fucking awful. Like, even on the lowest of low wrestling shows, when they get on TV, they're not going to cut to an ad break. Impact would never cut to an ad break if there was a really important story aspect going on at that time. I think that's fucking unforgivable. That is unforgivable. And I know that it's probably not going to annoy anyone else as much as it annoyed me, but that really fucking annoyed me. So this week, giving it to NXT, which makes it 3-0 to NXT so far as our Wednesday roundups go. I'm not being biased. I'm looking at these shows objectively, just like anyone else is looking at them objectively. I'm not team WWE. If anything, I'm anti-WWE as a company, but I'm not team WWE in this fight. I'm looking at these objectively. So far, AEW is yet to outshine NXT in pretty much any way. Not in character work, not in in-ring action, not in production, maybe commentary. Maybe they have the edge on commentary, but then again, probably not, because Mauro Ranallo is the best commentator in the business today. So that is my review for this week. Make sure you like me on Facebook, like and subscribe this video. Talk to me on Twitter any time at thatpwg. The links to my Facebook and Twitter will be either in the description to this video or in the box above my head on my YouTube profile. I know I sound like I'm being really negative about AEW all the time, but I am looking at this objectively, and this week in particular, AEW was the drizzling shits. So that's my closing thoughts. See you next week, everybody.